video, we're going to be doing the Matric grade 12 paper. We're doing paper 1. We're doing question 1. So let's start with the first question. So we're asked to solve this equation, and we can see that it's already factorized. So this means that x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. Then, therefore, for x plus 2 is equal to 0, this means that x is equal to negative 2. And for x minus 5 is equal to 0, x is equal to 5. Let's move on to the next question, 1.1.2. So this one here, we have an equation. Let's multiply the brackets. We'll have x times 2x, that's going to be 2x squared. X times 3, that's going to be plus 3x. And then let's take the 3 to this side. It's going to be minus 3 is equal to 0, right? Then we try and factorize. We see that we can't factorize. So we're going to use the quadratic formula. So this is the quadratic formula where a is equal to 2, b is 3, and c is negative 3. So therefore we'll have x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus the square root b squared, that's going to be 3 squared minus bracket 4 times a is 2 times c, and c is negative 3. All this over 2a of course is equal to 2. This will be equal to negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 33 all over 4. And then this will be negative 3 plus the square root of 33 over 4, or negative 3 minus the square root of 33 all over 4. You can get your calculator and then get the answer. And then you'll get x is equal to 0.69 or x is equal to negative 2.19. So those are the two values. This one and this one. The next question we're doing is the inequality question. That's 1.1.3. So this one here, if you look at the x, so we have x minus 1, and then we have 2 minus x. So what we want to do is to rearrange it where we're going to have x minus 2. So then we rearrange it, so we have x minus 2 here, x minus 2, and then we have a minus. So we've changed it, and then the minus comes out. I just put it here so that it doesn't look like a subtraction. And so you know that this is now going to change the sign of the inequality, because it's going to be like dividing by 2. That means that we have, therefore, x minus 1 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 1, or x is equal to 2. So this means that x plus 1 and x plus 2 are the critical values. So now let's make a number line to determine the interval of these critical values. So we have 1 here, then we have 2 here. So we're going to take any number between this interval here. So a number less than 1. So let's take 0. Then we put 0 in this equation here. And then we see whether we get a positive or a negative. So if you put 0 there, it's going to be 0 minus 1 multiplied by 0 minus 2. It's going to be negative times a negative. You're going to get a positive. This interval is positive. we choose a number between 1 and 2. So let's say 1.5. Then put this into that equation. And then you're going to get a negative. Put that in your calculator, you'll get a negative number. And then finally, we take in this interval from 2. So any number bigger than 2. So let's take 3. And then, as you can see here, we're going to get a positive number if you put that. So this interval is positive. And remember, we want where this equation is less than or equal to 0, which is between 1 and 2. So between this interval, this is where our answer is going to be. So when we write that down, we're going to have x between this interval of 1 and 2. So this is the final answer. Okay, so that is the final answer. Okay, let's move on to 1.1.4. So for this question, we see here that we have a square root. So the first thing we want to do is to get rid of the square root. So what we're going to do is put the left-hand side in bracket and then square it, and the other side and square it. So remember that the 3 also gets the squared. So it's going to be 3 squared, and then the square root of x minus 1 is also being squared. So 3 squared is 9. And then when we square the square root is going to disappear, and then we'll just have x minus 1. Remember to put that in bracket. And then we have 1 minus x squared, that is equal to 1 minus 2x plus x squared. Now let's multiply the brackets. We're going to have 9x minus 9 is equal to, let's rearrange this and start with x squared. So we'll have x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now let's take them all to one side of the equation. We're going to have x squared minus 2x minus 9x, that's 9x, and then plus 1 there, and then it's going to be plus 9 is equal to 0. Then you simplify, you have x squared minus 11x plus 10 is equal to 0. Now we see here that we have a quadratic, so let's try and factorize it. We're going to open 2 brackets, put an x in each bracket, and we want factors of 10 that when we add them we get 11. So we know that 10 times 1 is equal to 10, and then when we add 10 plus 1, we're going to get 11. So we're going to make them both negative because it's negative 11. So we'll have minus 10 in the one bracket, minus 1 in the other bracket. This means that x plus 10 is equal to 0, or that's x minus, and then x minus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 10, or x is equal to 1. So the next thing to do is just to check the 2 solutions that you got, 10 and 1. So you put them back into the original equation, in the question. So you put 10 in, and then you see if you get a solution, you put 1 in. So let's start with 10. So it's going to be 3 square root 10 minus 1 is equal to 1 minus 10. If you press your calculator, you see that this is not a correct solution that you get. So that means that x is equal to 10 is not a solution. So let's do x is equal to 1. It's going to be 3 square root 1 minus 1 is equal to 1 minus 1. 0 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 1 is a solution. So that means that for your final answer, x is not equal to 10, x is equal to 1. Those are the two solutions that we get. So this is part 1. I'll post the other questions in a different video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Please like and subscribe.